What's going on, guys? How is everybody doing? Good to see everybody here, even though I don't think there's anybody here yet. But we will see if we have some more people join us here in a minute. I'm a little late getting started today. I was out visiting with my aunt, and we were having a good time just talking. So ended up staying and like having to leave and be like, oh man, I need to go and get ready for this show. But we had a great time. Talking and stuff, man. It was great. It was cool as always. As always. Staying and like as always. Let's see here. See what's going on. Seems like everything is going okay. So yeah, man. Wait a few moments. Let everybody get in here. See what we got. Let me listen to this show real quick. Hold on 1 second, guys. Having to leave and be like, oh man, I need to go and get ready for this show. But we had a great time. Talking and stuff, man. It was great. It was cool as always. As always. Staying and like as always. Let's see here. All right, there we go. See what's going on. Got everything set up. I think everything is going okay. Got everything going on. So yeah, man. Got everything going on. I think we are all set. Sorry, I'm jumping in real late and kind of bumfuzzled here today. But I think everything is cool. I think we are all set. What's going on, Great Dane? I think we are all set. Whew, I jumped in here real late. I didn't even have time to get the whole thing set up so that I could give the reminder time and all that stuff. I just jumped in here last minute, man. So I'm just glad to even be on this thing. I'm just glad to even be here in the building. What's going on, Gypsy? Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here. You and Great Dane. I just jumped in here last minute, man. All right. So let me get all set up here. Man, if anyone hasn't, I know yesterday I told you guys that I was gonna be talking about Black Mirror and the movie Ma. Man, it for the majority report, man. You know, I know it's centered around this series is centered around issues that affect, you know, so-called black people, but I also think it's great to have, you know, other people of other races here to talk about certain things too, even in this series, because I think it's just great for conversation in general. What's going on, King Dez? It's good to see you. But yes, man, I don't. How many of you guys have watched the Netflix series Black Mirror? Have any of you guys ever watched Black Mirror? Let me know in the chat. Let's just have this little conversation before we get started. And before we get started, FYI, if you haven't seen Black Mirror season 5, or if you haven't seen the movie Ma, spoiler alert in advance. Spoiler alert in advance. What's going on? It's the lovely Cleo Banks in the building. What's going on, beautiful woman? Good to see you here. Good to see you here. We haven't seen you in a minute. We had a good show last night. Good show last night at FYI. What's up, RNA? Yeah, I just left my aunt's house. We had a good time, man. We had a really good conversation. I think me and my aunt's conversation gave me a good idea for a show, and it may even just segue into this show too. So, yeah, we had a really good conversation today. As always, anytime me and my aunt get together, it's always a good conversation. So, okay, Cleo Banks watches Black Mirror. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's have this conversation, guys. Let's have this conversation. Black Mirror, man. We're going to talk about Black Mirror. Oh, also, last night there was an issue with the call-in number, but I got that resolved. So the call-in number is now, the new call-in number is 615-270-2094. So that will be the new call-in number, 615-270-2094. It is a Google Voice number, so I don't ever have to worry about forgetting to pay the bill because it's always free. So, yeah, let me spam that in the chat too, just in case somebody wants to call in and talk about what they think about what we're talking about tonight. We'll copy that. So, again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the new season of Black Mirror, we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it now. I don't know how many comic book fans we have here in the show, but I am a huge comic nerd, and I've seen all of the I've watched all of the Marvel movies just because I love the Marvel series, the Marvel movies rather. So everybody knows maybe the guy who plays Captain Falcon in the Avengers. That's him on the screen. That is the guy that plays Captain Falcon in the Avengers. All right? Strong brother. Strong brother. I like Captain Falcon's character. Now I'm just going to talk about what I think, and either you guys agree or disagree, but you can tell me what you think. All right? It's Captain Falcon. Right? So let's talk about the season 5, episode 1 of Black Mirror. Now, I know there are a lot of people who say things about how black males are made to do certain things in Hollywood in order to make it in Hollywood. And for a long time, I never really paid a lot of attention to that. But recently, I started to look at things a little bit differently. And I started to notice that it does seem like there are things that it seems that guys are asked to do that I wonder if they would do in any other circumstance. And what do I mean by that? Well, in season 5, episode 1 of Black Mirror, it stars this guy. The guy that's Captain Falcon. Let me see what his real name is. I have no idea what his name is. I'm not that big of a fan. I don't want to keep calling. Okay. Anthony Mackie is his name. Stars Anthony Mackie in the season 5, episode 1 of Black Mirror. Now, in this episode, we have a black man, his black wife, and yes, Anthony Mackie. So they start a little family. I'm going to jump through a little bit. I don't want to go all through everything, but we see him, his wife, his family. But we start a long time ago. They haven't gotten married and done all that stuff yet. And he and his best friend are gamers. They like to play video games, and they play this specific game called Striking Vipers. Now, if you haven't or are not familiar with Black Mirror talks a lot about how technology affects people in our current time. It speaks a lot about technology, and it's where technology and I would think morality cross paths. It's a lot about what Black Mirror talks about. So in this case, they were playing games a long time ago. Well, they get older and they reconnect after Anthony Mackie has gotten married. They reconnect. He comes over and gives them a game. It's the new version of Striking Vipers. And so he drops the game off to him. His friend goes back home. So Anthony Mackie, is online playing. His boy hits him up. Hey, let's play Striking Vipers. So he teaches him how to set the whole thing up. And you know how in Black Mirror land, if you don't know, they have this little thing you put on your temple. And then your whole eyes go white and you're inside the game. The game is in your mind. So his friend has never played. Anthony Mackie has never played before, but his friend has, right? So he teaches him how to set the game up. He's setting the game up. Okay. So what do I do now? All right, you put the thing on your head right here, and you ready? And he counts them down. 3, 2, 1, go. He pushes the button. His eyes turn white. He leans back. And he is inside the video game, right? Now, these two black men, Anthony Mackie and his friend, both black men, they go inside the fighting game. Anthony Mackie picks this white/Asian guy. His friend picks this white/Asian woman. They start fighting. Just a normal fighting game. They're fighting, doing all their special moves, fireballs, dragon punches, all this stuff is happening. It's like a normal fighting. I'm like, man, this is cool. All right. That would be cool to be inside the fighting game. You can feel everything. He says, oh, can you feel it? He's like, you feel everything. Anything that happens, you feel like it's real. Boom, he's punching him. He's kicking him. Boom, boom, boom. So Anthony Mackie gets his ass kicked the first round, right? So he gets up. Game resets, all his bruises go away. They fight again. They fighting. Right? Anthony Mackie is getting them hands put on them. Bow, 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 bow. Rounds over, they staring each other down, they look at each other, and then they start kissing. Right? Which in one sense, you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, you see this. And see, this is where the mind control / influenced starts coming in. Because we're seeing these video game characters kissing. This white / Asian guy and this white / Asian woman. They're kissing and making out. And then Anthony Mackie's son kicks him. And he wakes up. He comes out of the game. All right? So his son's like, yeah, I want some water or something. So he gets up and gets some water. But this is our first delve into, okay, so what's going on here? Are they saying that between these two black male friends that there has been this underlying sexual tension the whole time, and this video game just gave Anthony Mackie's friend an outlet to say, I've been wanting to be gay with you for a long time, and this is the outlet, so I'm gonna use it now and just pretend like it's just a game, right? It just happened. It's just a game. Okay. So they don't speak for a while. Then Anthony Mackie's playing the game again. His friend hits him up online. Hey, you want to play again? He's like, all right. So they jump in the game, and there's like, dude, his friend was like, I'm sorry, it's just like some weird thing that's happened. It's not gonna happen again. Sorry about that. Whatever, yada yada. He's like, yeah, I get it. It's all right. It's just a game. It just happened. So the game says round 1, fight. They side each other up, and they immediately start kissing again. And this time, they have sex. Now again, it's a little weird because we're not seeing the two black men have sex. We're seeing the white / Asian character, male character, and the white / Asian female character are having sex. Right? But the thing is, the people who are initiating the sex behind those characters are the two black men. So it's not as if these characters in the video game are choosing to have sex independently. What's really happening, according to this episode, is the two black men have been wanting to have sex in some way. Now they're going to peddle it as, no, it's just something that happens inside this video game, and it's different because they're inside the video game. But that's not what really is happening. These two men are making a conscious effort or conscious decision to go inside this video game and have sex with these characters. And these characters, even though it's not them, it's still representing their minds, because their minds are what makes the video game happen. Right? So they full out have sex, and it's almost as if what I got from this scene is a lot, because it seemed like it was saying that these black guys are like down low men, and it's almost like this is something that can be thought of as a way of justifying the behavior that they're doing. It's like in their mind, it's not really me and my boy having sex. It's like me having sex with a girl. even though it's really him, in my mind, it's really not him. He's just like some type of outlet for what I'm playing out in my brain. But see, I've never seen Anthony Mackie in some role like this. Now he's about to be Black Captain America. It's almost like, okay, yeah, you can be Black Captain America, but we're going to need you to do this first. We're going to need you to do this first. All right? So, they come out of the game after they've just had full-on sex. Well, not the two black guys. The white/Asian man and the white/Asian character inside the game. Okay? So he's been having so much sex inside the game with his friend that he starts to no longer desire having his wife sexually anymore. His wife is this beautiful, beautiful black woman. Beautiful black woman. So it ends up being their anniversary one night, and they go to a restaurant, and his wife literally breaks down. She's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Nothing." She's like, "What's going on? You used to always want me. You don't want me anymore. Why don't you want me anymore? What's going on?" He's like, "I'm just tired. I'm just tired. That's all it is. I promise you there's nothing going on. I'm just tired. I'm just tired." So they get through that night. So he calls his boy. It's like, "Look, this has to stop. We can't do it anymore. We can't do this anymore." His boy is all distraught. You know you love it. You know it feels great. You know you love doing this with me. You don't want to stop. You don't want to stop. He's like, "We have to stop." His friend's like, "You don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. We're not going to stop. Please don't stop. Please, please." He's like, "We got to stop. We got to stop." So his boy kind of has this little breakdown. So he tries. He's like, "We're going to stop doing this. We're not doing it anymore. We don't do it anymore." So, of course, it happens again. But not how you would think. They go through this long period of not talking anymore. And it comes up to be Anthony Mackie's character's birthday again. Now, his wife, of course, still doesn't know what had been going on between him and his friend. So it's his birthday. His wife says, "Oh, by the way, I invited your friend, your boy. He's coming over for dinner." And of course, he's like, "What? What you talking about?" No, he talks, "What? What do you mean?" He always does this little thing with his face. "What do you mean? What are you talking about? You invited him over?" He's like, "Yeah, he'll be over for dinner." So his boy comes over. And of course, it's super awkward. Super awkward. They're sitting down having dinner. His wife is trying to crack all these jokes and nobody's laughing because, of course, they've been having virtual sex and had this whole virtual sexual relationship. And now they're broken up. But they're face to face again. So his wife is trying to break up all of the tension by telling all these jokes. She still doesn't know what's going on for real, for real. So she gets up, goes to the kitchen. His friend starts begging him again. "Look, you know you like this. You know you want. I've tried to do everything. I've had sex with all the other characters in the game, other people. He even said he had sex with one of the fighting characters that was a panda. He's like, I even had sex with the panda and nothing's working." Suggesting everything. Okay, black men not only want to have sex with everything, but we'll also have sex with panda bears if it came down to it. So he's like, nothing else works. You know you miss it. You know you love it. Come on, let's one more time. One more time. So he's like, meet me in the game at midnight. So they leave. He leaves. Midnight comes. Anthony Mackie's character looks at his clock, sees it, it's midnight, gets up, goes back to the game. And of course, they select their characters, same characters. They go in the game, white Asian male, white Asian female. They go in the game and immediately start having sex again. And again, it's this same illusion. Are they really being gay? Are they doing something? Are they committing a homosexual act? Because they're inside this video game, and it's almost as if they're asking, okay, but it's not really them. But it really is them, because it's them who are initiating the thoughts to do this. So again, after they're done, they're like, look, we can't do this anymore. We can't do this anymore. So they leave the game. Now, Anthony Mackie's character calls his boy and says, I want you to meet me at this place tonight at midnight. It's like another day. It's raining outside. So they both meet up at this same place, right? It's raining. They're outside. It's dark. His friend's like, what is it? What do you want? What's going on? And what does Anthony Mackie's character say? He's like, look, we got a kiss. We got a kiss. His friend says, what? He's like, look, we got a kiss. We got to find out if there's something there. So we got a kiss. We got a kiss. Now I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm in my heart, I'm feeling like this is what it's going to lead up to. On top of all the other nonsense, I knew it was going to lead up to something like this. So I'm sitting here watching this thinking, oh man, come on, don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. So his friend walks up to him. He's like, are you sure? He said, yeah, we have to find out if there's something between us. If it is, then we just go ahead and go with it. That's fine. We'll just go with it. But if not, then we'll know. I'm like, please don't do this, guys. please just don't do this. So the two guys walk up to each other, and his boy is like, oh, he tries to like play it off like, hey, it's my boy. Yeah, it's my boy. And Anthony Mackie just looks at him like, come on, dude. We got to kiss. We got to kiss. So he walks up to him, and they kiss. So they pull away from each other, and he's like, I didn't feel anything. And his friend's like, yeah, I didn't feel anything either. All right, then. So they hug. But then his friend's like, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. Anthony Mackie's character is like, we have to. They go through the same thing again. So his friend gets so pissed, they end up getting in this fist fight. A lover's quarrel. They literally get into a lover's quarrel. But it's two guys, so it ends up being this brawl. But it's basically a lover's quarrel. So a policeman comes by. They get arrested. Anthony Mackie's wife comes and bails him out of jail. So they're driving home in the car. And she's like, I know something's going on. What is it? Anthony Mackie's silent. He's not saying anything. She's like, what is going on? Tell me. I want to know. There's something going on. Tell me. So we see Anthony Mackie's character just look over at his wife. And then it goes back to them being at home. They're having this nice little day. There's people over. It's his birthday. Everybody goes home. And so we find out that he actually told his wife what had been going on. Right? Now, earlier in the episode, on their anniversary night, his wife was already at the restaurant and she was sitting at the bar waiting for him to get there because he was late. While she was sitting there, a guy comes up to her. He says, "Excuse me, can I buy you a drink?" He, complimented her on how she looked. So she holds up her hand. Of course, she's wearing a wedding ring. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw you sitting here. I thought you were, attractive, and I thought I would buy you a drink. I apologize." So he walks away. And she tells him that night, "You haven't been touching me, and this guy just hit on me, and I really wanted to do something with him just so I could feel something again." All right. Now let's fast forward to the night or the day, his birthday. Everyone's outside. They had just left. It was just them two. So to resolve their marital issues, she gives him a box. He opens the box, and it's the little virtual thing. She says, "I want this back in the morning." He opens his hand and gives her one, and he says, "Me too." So he goes into the living room, and they show his friend in his living room, and on his calendar, he has a date with an X. And so their resolution for their marital issues was that he gets to go and have sex in the video game with his friend on this day, and she gets to go and have sex with the guy that hit on her at the bar that night. So the resolution for this for this black family was, you get to go and have your sexual liaison with your friend, and I get to go have mine with my stranger at the bar. The end. So, question to the chat. Is that how do you feel about that? Is it a homosexual act if two guys have sex with each other in a video game? I think so. I think it is. King Dad says, "I hate how they usually use black men for gay stuff in Hollywood." I hate it too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that episode? Does that seem like something that's done to push some type of agenda about black men in Hollywood and what they have to do in order to be successful? Because it seems to me that it is something that is done as a means to say, okay, you can be successful, you can do this, but I'm gonna need you to do this too. What do you think, Miss Bailey? What does that mean, Miss Bailey? Wendy Sloan says we are being programmed. I think so too. Especially for people who don't realize what's going on. It's easier, I think, for them to be programmed because they don't understand what may be going on. Wendy Sloan says they make the newest wear a dress. They've been making them wear dresses for a long time. Cleo Banks says, I thought it was a little homosexual, but I feel sexuality is a spectrum. Someone had to be a woman in the game and feel what one feels. That's a bit gay. Agreed. Wendy Sloan says they have a transgender agenda. Yes, I think so. Miss Bailey, if they want to move up, then they're selling out and doing some homosexual stuff. I agree. King Des says Anthony Mackie is at that level. It's a rite of passage. He wants to be an A-list actor, so he has to participate in homosexuality. See, King Des, that's my point in talking about this episode. This episode was his. Like I said earlier, it was his, okay, you want to pay, you got that Avengers money, you want to be Captain America, you can be Captain America, but we need you to do this first. Cleo Banks says, I thought the episode was also a play on polygamous relationships. How so, Cleo Banks? Clarify what you mean by that, please, Cleo Banks. How do you think that was a play on polygamous relationships? I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on that. Alicia Safer says, I don't know. It was something when they kissed, yet both said they felt nothing. See, that's weird. And that's what I didn't understand about it either, was because they did kiss and they said they didn't feel anything. But when they kissed inside the video game, they both obviously felt something. So in the back of their minds, they still knew that it was them. It was still them. And I honestly think they were lying inside the movie when they said they felt nothing, because it seemed like, no, if you really didn't feel anything, there would be no reason for you guys to have this huge fight afterwards. There was something there, and it was almost as if the characters' intentions, or the intentions of the script, were to say you actually do feel something, but you're too ashamed to fight about it. I mean, to be honest about it, so you're just going to fight about it, but you're really down low. You're really down low. But, you have this wife and your boy is still out, having sex with all these women and the pandas. So you can't, it's admitted. So you're going to have to fight about it, but you're really kind of down low about this whole thing. You're really down low. See, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Wendy Sloan says, blood in, blood out, sodomy in, welcome to the club. There you go. Miss Bailey says, probably his moving up initiation. Right, I agree. Cleo Banks, you never did clarify. Tantric practices are a better way to keep passion alive in a monogamous relationship. Really? Tantric practices. Miss Bailey says, also, it's introducing open relationships. He will either do that or put on a dress. And see, I agree with that statement as well, Miss Bailey. I did think it was introducing open relationships. But what I didn't like was that it's a way for them to, instead of showing the black family, and I can only talk about this from the black perspective because I'm so-called black, instead of showing them actually resolving the issues, the resolution was, you get to go and commit this down low act with your friend, and I get to go and commit adultery. And then we'll be okay until the next time, next month or whenever we get to do it again. We'll just do it that way, and that will solve all the other problems in our relationship. But will it? Cleo Banks says, well, in the end, they gave each other a pass to be sexual, cheat on each other in order to save the relationship. I feel that's most poly relationships, not all, but most. Miss Bailey says, showing the black family a mess and going along with whatever. My point exactly. I think I've probably said that before you typed that. Cleo Banks says, also, the relationship with the two guys is a relationship. He also had one with his wife. If she was fine with it, happily ever after, right? But see, here's the thing. Is that really happily ever after? Is that really happily ever after? Let's look at this practically. What woman, especially a black woman, is going to be okay with letting her husband go off with his boy and have sex together in a video game? I don't know of any black woman that would be okay with that in real life. So to me, it's like they're saying, calm down. Don't be so serious about what you're serious about. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. You'll still be happy. You just have to let your husband go have sex with his friend in the video game, and that saves your relationship. Okay? Now you just go off and have sex normal, you just go and have normal sex with this guy at a bar. Okay? Your solution is simple. You just go and have regular sex. But you have to be okay with your husband having sex with his boy inside the video game as a white man and a white woman. That's a much more complicated thing than just cheating on each other to have peace and relationship. I want to say that one more time. It's a little bit more complicated than that. The woman gets to go and have sex with a guy at the bar. The husband gets to go have sex. He gets to go and join his best male friend in a video game, and they have sex with each other as a white man and a white woman. That's a much, much deeper thing than what it seems to be on the surface. Not only is it a kind of a push toward two men being in this down low relationship, it's also like the down low relationship is justified because they don't think of it in their minds as male on male sex. They think of it as male and female sex to justify the homosexual act. And on top of that, to make it even more palatable and acceptable, it was with a white man and a white woman. There are many layers to that solution, guys. I don't feel like that's just you get a cheat and you get a cheat and everything is okay. That's a much deeper thing than that. Wendy Sloan says, why doesn't the husband touch her? He stopped touching her because he was having so much fun having sex with his friend in the video game. What's up, Red Boy? Wendy Sloan, Cleo Banks says, I see what you're saying. Okay, maybe I'm looking at it superficially. Maybe you're not. It's just my opinion, but you know. Red Boy said, why would two download dudes pretend to be white in a video game? Miss Bailey also says, if the two men wanted each other, why is the fantasy two white people? Exactly. So not only, now it could very easily just be explained. Someone will say, well, maybe there were not two black characters in the video game. Okay. But this is a movie in which they could create whatever they wanted, and they chose to create the video game characters as two white people. That's a purposeful decision. So what are they saying by saying that these two black men chose white characters? And it's almost, as I said earlier, as if they're saying, in order to make it even more palatable, not only to the two men in the movie, but to us as viewers, it was two white people. Because it makes people say things like, oh, love is love. It's okay. It's okay. King Des says, sounds like some witchcraft, Hollywood's biggest weapon. It does, man. Not themselves. Shame, says Wendy Sloan. Yes. So needless to say, that episode was very hard for me to watch. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was very disappointed to see Anthony Mackie take that role and do that. Very disappointed to see that. And I wish that more actors would be a little bit, especially, black actors so-called black actors would be a little bit more conscious of the roles that they're taking and what they're saying. I wish people would be able to do things without the fear of what the shame of the community would say. I don't like that. I mean, I've done a lot of things in the dance world, but there are a lot of things that I didn't do because I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I would never dance in an effeminate way. And I even, booked some really big things. But once I found out that that's what they were going to ask me to do, I walked away from it because it's just not in my nature to do that. It's not I don't have any desire to be a male dancer that dances in an effeminate way. I don't want to do that. So I wish that, whether it's $1 or $50,000 or $1 million, at the end of the day, you have to be able to look at yourself. And so for people to do this and be okay with it means, to me, it means to a certain level that they are okay with it. And I wish more of us as black people would be able to not be okay with things. It seems like this society is like everything is okay. There's nothing that, you can't disagree with anything. Everything is okay. And if you disagree with anything, you have a phobia for it. For some reason now in society, disagreement equals a phobia, and that's not the same thing. King Dan says the only black male actor I can think of who hasn't done anything gay publicly is Denzel. Makes you wonder what he does in private. Yeah, me and my boys were talking about that last night. We couldn't, and of all the male actors, we couldn't think of anyone except Denzel either. But it seemed to me like with Denzel should have gotten an Oscar for his portrayal of Malcolm X. I watch Malcolm X at least 2 or 3 times a year because it's just such a powerful movie. And anybody that has seen that movie would say if there was any role that Denzel should have gotten an Oscar for, it should have been his portrayal of Malcolm X. Right? Denzel didn't win an Oscar until he played in the character in the movie Training Day. He had to play a character that was completely contrary to, what he normally plays. It was almost as if he had to play a lowlife in order to get the recognition of getting an Oscar. It's the same with Halle Berry. Halle Berry didn't receive her Oscar until she had sex with Billy Bob Thornton. And I'm a straight man, and Halle Berry is hot. But as a straight dude, I know Billy Bob Thornton is like a crazy looking dude. He's not somebody that I think women would be like, oh, I can't wait to have sex with Billy Bob Thornton. So not only did she have to have sex with this dude to win an Oscar, she had to have sex with a very unattractive dude to win this Oscar. So it's there, man. It doesn't seem like people are winning Oscars for, especially in the black world, winning Oscars for for being upstanding great characters anymore. All right. Moonlight won the best Oscar in 2017. Yes. Cleo Banks says, I remember one comedian said, white gay men control media. You must please them in some way to make it. They can't make the black man look too strong. That is exactly right. Ms. Bailey says, Denzel cheats on his wife. He got busted. I think they have an open relationship. He gets turned up doing other things. Really? What's up, self-care boss? Self-care boss says, no, Billy Bob ain't cute, right? Cleo Banks says, probably that too, though. Self-care says, these all are rituals. Most of the actors are pansexual anyway. Yeah, so I feel like that was Anthony Mackie's initiation into whatever next level he is going into. I mean, like we said, Denzel is the only one I don't think did anything on camera, but even Will Smith had that scene in that movie 6 Degrees of Separation. They were like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make you a big star, but you're gonna have to do this real quick first. We're gonna need to get you in here kissing this white dude. We're gonna have to get you in here kissing this white dude. Marsha says, well, look at Monique, or do we want to go there? Marsha, if you're talking about Precious, I agree with you 100%. That was probably one of the worst movies ever made. And I feel like she had to do that movie to get the recognition that she got too. Now, that's the movie she got an Oscar for. And Precious was one of the most horrible movies and portrayed black women in one of the most disgusting lights ever. So Marsha, yeah, if you're talking about Monique in that role, I agree with you. But that's the same thing they did to Denzel too. Look at the roles that that we have to play in order to get these Oscars. Look at what Denzel, Halle, and Monique, what they had to do to win an Oscar. Look at those roles in relation to some of their other roles. Look at the role that they did that actually won them an Oscar. That says a lot. That says a lot. Self-Care Boss says that film was all about abuse. Correct. King Dad says that was an enactment of his real life. Will Smith was caught by his wife having sex with his producer. Rumor is that's why she divorced him. Really? Really? Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, that episode of Black Mirror didn't sit too well with me. I didn't really care for it very much. I didn't really care for it too much. Self-Care says, what is an Oscar anyway in terms of merit? I used to want a Grammy. Now I know better. Exactly. Red Boy says, so how do we change this situation? Well, let's keep talking, Red Boy. Let's go to the next thing. The number is on the screen too. If anybody has anything that they want to say, you are always more than welcome to call in. You know how we are on this show. You are always more than welcome to call in at any time. So, now season 5 of Black Mirror only has 3 episodes. And I found it very interesting. These 3 episodes I found very interesting. Now, we've already touched on the first one. The second one was very interesting also. In the second episode of Black Mirror season 5, we see this white guy out front of this building. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this one because it's a little bit involved, but I'll give the cliff notes. And again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen season 5, episode 2, there will be spoilers. So you may want to stop listening right now, as I say to the little kids I teach when I used to teach little kids. We see this guy in a taxi. He's basically an Uber driver, right? And he's outside of this building. And the woman gets into his car and he asks her if she works there. And she said, no, I was just waiting outside the building. So he takes her to her destination. And he ends up going to this group of people who have had a traumatic thing happen to them, where they can talk about it, right? A support group. Because we find out that he had lost his fiance in a car crash, right? So every day he goes to work and he goes to this building and he waits, right? So then he goes back. He's in a support group. There's a woman there. She tells her story of what happened to her. After the session, she asks him if he wants to have a drink or whatever. And he agrees. And of course, they end up in the bed having sex, right? So her issue was that her daughter committed suicide and she didn't know why, but she had been trying to get into her daughter's computer to find out if there were any clues in her social media program called Smithereens. That's what the name of the company. And she was trying to get into her daughter's social media profile to see if there were any clues as to why she committed suicide. Well, every day this guy would go outside of Smithereens and wait to see if he could get someone who actually worked there in his car. Well, this was his lucky day. Because what happens? Well, this day he's waiting outside of Smithereens, and this young black guy, so-called black guy, gets into his Uber Young black man's dressed in a nice suit. Real nice suit. Looks like an executive. So the guy asks him, hey, do you work at Smithereens? And he's like, yeah. So once he finds out that the guy works at Smithereens, it's on and popping. It is on and popping. He pulls out a gun, puts it in the dude's face, says, you're coming with me. He goes under this bridge. He tries to switch them into another car. Guy is young. He's throwing up. He's so scared. He tries to put the dude in the trunk. He gets him in the trunk, puts a bag over his head. The dude is just screaming uncontrollably because he's claustrophobic. So he's like, that's not going to work. He gets him out, puts him back in the back seat and says, hey, I got this pistol. You make anything crazy, I'm going to blow your freaking head off. They drive down the street. Standard kidnap black people stuff, right? So he drives by this gas station. There happens to be a police officer and her partner there. And it just so happens she glances up and sees this white dude driving down the street with a person in the back seat with a bag over their head. The chances of that, right? That doesn't happen too often, I don't think. So the police officer says, hey, I just saw this someone's driving down here with somebody in the back seat with a bag on their head. Other dude said, really? She said, yeah, let's go check it out. So of course they follow the car and they pull him over, and the woman is in her car and she looks and she says, I know this dude is going to take off as soon as I get out of the car. Are you ready? Her partner says, yeah. So she opens her door slowly and she puts her foot out of the car, and as soon as her foot touches the ground, he mashes on the gas. So she closes the door, they get right after him, right? So they drive, car chase. He crashes, he pulls over into a grass field. He's out in the middle of a field of grass. So he has this gun. He's like, if any of you come close, I'm going to blow this dude's head off, right? So of course they don't come any closer. Now, his demand is that the owner of this company, Smithereens, gives him a phone call. That's the only thing he wants. He just wants to talk to the owner of Smithereens. Now, of course, this black kid, he's only like 20 years old, and he doesn't really work there. He's just an intern, right? So the dude finds out that he's an intern. He flips out. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just an intern. I don't work there. And he said, do you have anybody's number? So ultimately, he ends up getting the number of someone higher up in the company that's right up under the owner, the guy that he wants to get to talk to. Now, of course, stuff happens. Same old, negotiating with someone who's holding someone captive stuff. That whole thing plays out. Ultimately, the owner says, I want to talk to this guy. So he gets him on the phone, right? So once the owner of the Smithereens company is on the phone, the white guy starts to regale him with his story. He was in love. And he and his fiancée were driving down the street. Smithereens is a huge social media company. And as he's driving down the street, Smithereens sent him a notification. He looked down to answer the notification. When he looked up, wreck. He hit another car. And of course, his girlfriend passes away. And of course, he blames Smithereens for sending him the notification. Those are his little white people problems at that point. So, ultimately, the owner of the company says, I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, really, what else is he going to say? I'm sorry that happened to you. Now, here's where it got interesting. He looks back at the young black guy. I say kid because he's only 20. looks back at the black kid, and he's like, you can get out of the car now. I was always going to let you out. This is my last day here. So now, as he says that, the sniper shoots through the window. He missed. But he could have shot both of them. Right? So, the kidnapper, the white guy, says he's going to kill himself. So the black guy, who has not only been kidnapped, been held captive by this person, who has almost been shot by a sniper, starts to tell his story of, well, one of my relatives passed away by suicide, and my mother is still messed up. She never got over it. So the young black guy's like, you know what? You don't have to kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Don't do that. The guy's like, it's okay. I'm gonna kill myself. You can just go ahead and get out. Get out. So now the black guy reaches for the gun and is in this struggle. Don't kill yourself. Don't do it. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. Stop. Don't do it. Don't kill yourself. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, really? Really? This dude kidnapped you, pistol whipped you, put you in a trunk, drove you out to the middle of nowhere, held a gun to your face. You just got almost shot by a sniper. And now, instead of just getting out of the car, you are going to wrestle with this gun and tell him how amazing his life is and how he should not kill himself and endanger your own life in the process. So they're struggling over this gun, and then we hear gunshot, boom. Now, Black Mirror, in customary Black Mirror fashion, we don't know what happened. They don't show who got killed. But come on, y'all, it's TV. We know black people don't never make it through nothing, right? We know that. It's like 5 movies that black people ever made it through where somebody got shot. It's always us. I mean, come on now. We all know that. Can we admit that? Can we admit black people don't make it through movies that much? Can we just go ahead and admit that? I mean, hell, we can't make it through real life that much, so much less movies. I mean, we know what happened. So it was almost as if this episode was playing up this fact where, hey, you know what? You can get kidnapped, pistol whipped, thrown in the trunk, have a gun held to your head, get almost shot by snipers, but you still need to make sure that you save the life of the person that is doing these horrible things to you. Really? Now let's look at this objectively. Let's look at this objectively. Because if this was real life, and this dude actually got this black dude in the back of the car, we all know there is absolutely no way that black dude would have wrestled that gun out of his hand and tried to stop him from killing himself. We all know that would never have happened. When he said, you can get, by the time he said out, the car door would have slammed. You can get, you can get, he'd have been gone. Right? We all know that. But it was like as if season 2, Frank the writer says, what an Uncle Tom role in that show. See? It was almost as if they were saying, like I said earlier, doesn't matter, black dude. You need to make sure you save that dude, that white dude that's holding you captive. And let's look at all of the gun violence that's been happening from onto black people here recently. This dude literally has almost killed this black dude, but he basically gives up his life to try to save the person that has been oppressing him this whole day. So that's that with that episode. What do you guys think? Do you think that that was something that was done to issue some type of, hey, save everybody. Don't worry about what's happening to you. Make sure you save everybody, even the people who may be trying to kill you. Make sure you save them. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that one? What do you think about that one? Before we move on to the third episode, which is much easier to explain because it's really, really simple. What do you guys think? I think everyone's kind of quiet because that one, there's a lot to think about too. There's a lot to think about too. Oh, man. Red Boy says, make no sense to me. Exactly. Dorinda Nicole says, 1, of course they are with that foolishness. 2, what show is this? I'm late. Black Mirror, Dorinda. Yeah, you missed the discussion of the first episode. That was, whew. Wendy Sloan says, the Christian model. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so episode 1, 2 black men kiss, down low having sex in a video game as 2 white people. That's episode 1. 2 black dudes, down low sexual relationship inside of a video game, becoming 2 white people in the video game having sex. Married, one not. The married one gets to have sex with his black male friend together inside a video game as white people. And his wife gets to go inside of a video game and have sex with a random dude at a bar. This saves their black marriage. Episode 2. Black dude gets kidnapped, almost killed, held at gunpoint all day. White dude gets what he wants. Black dude solution, I can't let this white dude kill himself. I have to save his life, even if it means sacrificing my own. Okay, that's episode 2. Now, let's look at episode 3. Episode 3 could basically just be called White People Problems. White people problems. Cleo Banks says, I thought it was a really strange episode. It made me uncomfortable. I knew it was written with no black people in the room. I agree, Cleo Banks. I agree 100%, beautiful. But here's the question that I'm asking too. If we can see that something like that was something and we perceive it as something that was written with no black people in the room, why do we take the roles that were written with no black people in the room? Obviously. I mean, he's like the only black character in the whole episode. It's ridiculous. Why do we keep doing that? Wendy Sloan says, time to change the channel. Yeah, but you know what? I've been such a fan of Black Mirror for a long time. Episode 1, I literally only renewed my Netflix membership because of Black Mirror coming out. I let my Netflix membership just go. I was like, I'm done with Netflix. I don't need it anymore. And then when I heard Black Mirror came back, I said, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get my Netflix back so I can see Black Mirror. after episode 1, I thought, I can't watch this. Maybe episode 2 is not going to be anywhere along the same vein as episode 1. Episode 2, okay, it was a completely different level of BS. Yes, Winnie Sloan, you're exactly right. Episode 3. White family, husband, 2 daughters. I'm going to really paraphrase this one because it's pretty easy. It's pretty self-explanatory. Husband, 2 daughters. Their mother, his wife, their mother passed away. So it's just the husband and the 2 daughters. Okay. One of the daughters like a little rock girl. The other daughter is all about this pop star played by Miley Cyrus. We'll just call her Hannah Montana. Okay. So Hannah Montana is this super rock star. The girl that loves her is this, really nerdy, kind of not popular at all girl. Her sister's like this dark rock girl, and her father makes rat traps that are based on the AI of rat brains. He has these little probes where he can actually analyze the brain patterns of rats or mice, and he uploads them into his computer so that he can create a rat with a shocker that knows how rats think, so it can follow it, find the rats, run into them, shock them, kill them, and then you just take the rats and throw them away. Okay? Now, daughter's obsessed with Hannah Montana. Now, Hannah Montana is a super famous star, of course, right? Her name is not Hannah Montana, and her name is Ashley O. But she's Hannah Montana. It's Miley Cyrus. Even though Miley Cyrus looks like she don't look like Hannah Montana no more. Anyway, so Hannah Montana is off doing her thing. She's super famous. She's super rich. She has this aunt with her that's her manager. So we find out that Hannah Montana's aunt/manager is doing dubious things to keep Hannah Montana under control. She's basically Illuminati mind controlling Hannah Montana. She's basically mind controlling Hannah Montana, right? So Hannah Montana is all upset because she can't do anything that she wants to do. Oh, I'm rich. Oh my God, I'm super famous. Oh my God, I can't do anything I want to do. You're controlling me. I'm just so rich and I'm so successful, but I can't write my own music. Oh, I'm so unhappy. Those problems. That part. So, so the little girl that's all obsessed with Hannah Montana is watching her videos. Well, one day they come out with this new toy, Ashley 2, and it has Ashley's whole brain in there. So you basically have a little version of Ashley in your house. Okay, well, of course, she gets a little Ashley 2 toy, and so she's all obsessed with it. Well, Hannah Montana, her manager, finds out that Hannah Montana is like super upset with her life. She finds this journal and she's writing all this stuff that she's super upset about, and they've been trying to give Hannah Montana these pills so they can control her mind. Hannah Montana hasn't been taking them. She's been putting the pills in a little pill box and putting them in her drawer because they have a camera in Hannah Montana's room and they found out what Hannah Montana was doing. So Hannah Montana's aunt crushed up all the pills, invited her over for dinner one day, and laced all of her food with all these pills. And come to find out, if you eat too much pills, you go into a coma. And that's exactly what happened to Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana went into a coma. Poor little Tink Tink. So now Hannah Montana's aunt has this brilliant plan where she can put this headset on Hannah Montana and extract new songs straight from her brain. That's what she does. But in order to finalize everything, Hannah Montana can't wake up from the coma. She has to get all the contracts signed before Hannah Montana wakes up. Well, all of the Ashley 2 dolls ended up having to be destroyed because when Hannah Montana went to a coma, all of the dolls went berserk when they found out. Well, of course, our little family had their doll turned off, had her doll turned off so her doll didn't see it. Well, when her doll actually finally did see it, she flipped out, went bananas. So they found out, they was like, okay, what's wrong with this doll? Well, conveniently for them, her father has the little thing that he made where he can look at the brain pattern of mice and see what their brain is actually doing. So of course, they're like, this is the answer. We'll just hook Ashley 2 up to the brain thing. So they hook Ashley 2 up to the brain thing, and they see Ashley 2's brain where they see a little thing block, a little red block. So they take the block off, and it's Ashley's, it's Hannah Montana's brain for real. She's really Hannah Montana, right? So Hannah Montana tells him, look, I'm in a coma. We got to go to my house and save me. So in the process of them going to save Hannah Montana, the two sisters realize how much they love each other, and they realize that their mother's death was hard for them, but they're going to get past it. They're okay. So the father, they go to the Hannah Montana's house. They find Hannah Montana. They save Hannah Montana's life. Hannah Montana gets in the truck. She wakes up from a coma. She goes to the concert where her aunt / manager / coma inducer is about to sign the contract. They bust all of that up. They stop her from signing the contract. They reunite their family, and they save Hannah Montana. The end. So, am I the only one who sees the huge contrast between the first 2 episodes of Black Mirror and the 3rd episode of Black Mirror? I mean, let's look at that. Let's just recap this whole season. Episode 1. 2 black dudes have down low sex in a video game as 2 white people. Marriage almost destroyed. Save marriage by allowing black dude to continue to have down low sex with his best friend inside a video game as 2 white people. Black woman gets to go to her virtual bar and have sex with strangers whenever she wants to. Episode 1. Episode 2, white guy kidnaps black dude. Black dude realizes that suicide almost broke up his whole family and caused his mom to go crazy. White dude says, I'm going to commit suicide. Black dude says, I know the effects of suicide or the death of a loved one because I experienced it with my mom, but I am willing to risk my life and almost die to save this person from committing suicide, even though it's going to have even more dire effects on my mom if I get killed in the process because she's already messed up from the other suicide that happened to our family. But it's okay. I got to save this white dude's life. I can't let him kill himself. The end. Episode 3. White family loses their mother. Sisters are going at each other because they're upset over the loss of their mother. Sisters come together, resolve issues about loss of their mother. Family reunites, and in the process, save Hannah Montana from her diabolical aunt / manager / coma inducer. The end. Am I connecting dots? Am I connecting dots that shouldn't be connected? Am I making up stuff that ain't real? Red Boy, thank you so much for the $25 donation, bro. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate you, Red Boy. But now, for real, guys, am I making up stuff? Is that a jump? Am I reaching? Because it seems like it seems a little intentional to me. It seems a little bit intentional to me. Okay? It seems a little bit intentional to me. Am I crazy? Are we just thinking about it? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Frank the writer says, black actors who play stereotypical roles just think about the money, just like black actors did before the civil rights movement. The big money is more important than dignity and self-respect. See, I agree, Frank the writer, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. All right. Is everybody just quiet, or is everybody just thinking what is going on? Whitney Sloan says messed up, techno trash, mind control. I just said that already. I think I did. So now that brings us to our last thing to talk about today. And this one, ho. This one was a doozy. This one was a doozy. Have any of you all seen the movie Ma? Have any of you guys seen the movie Ma? Have any of you guys seen the movie Ma? Let me know. Let me know if you have seen that movie. If not, the movie Ma stars Octavia Spencer, right? Cleo Banks says, no, I haven't. She also says, I'm not sure what to think. Honestly, I would like to know the writers of these episodes and what they were trying to express. Red Boy said, I haven't seen it yet, but I love Octavia. Oh, man. Yeah, I like her too. I don't know. I think this one might have I think this was Octavia Spencer's okay. You've been successful. You've done some good movies. You've made some money. Now we need you to do some bed winching. Now we need you to hop on this coon train real quick. We need to get you on this coon train real quick. Coon coon. Coon coon. She's a cute little chubby woman. Her little big eyes and her big cheeks. I kept looking at her. I was like, oh, she is adorable. It was just sometimes she would smile and she would really just look so adorable. I'm like, oh, man. Cleo Banks says Octavia always plays those roles. Yeah, man. Well, she did it for real in this one. Spoilers, if you have not seen Ma, I'm about to spoil the hell out of this one. Red Boy says she was so good when she mad. The shit pie I forgot the movie. Oh, man. Okay. Now, of course, this is a almost 2-hour movie. So I'm going to try to wrap it up as quickly as possible because we've already been on for an hour and a half. I don't want to keep you guys up all night. But Ma was something else. That movie was something else. I watched that movie and I just kept thinking, really? This is what's happening. This is what's hot in the streets right now. This is what's hot in the streets right now. Y'all ready for this last story real quick? Y'all ready for this last story? Man, this is the one. That's why I saved this one for last. Yeah, don't confuse her with Jill Scott. Jill Scott did a whole, different demeaning act, performing a sexual act on a microphone on stage. It's retarded. That's ridiculousness. So, Ma. This was the biggest batch of battered, baked, busted, bed wench drama so let me see if I can sum this movie up. The movie is about some white teenagers that want to have a party and they want to get some liquor, but of course they're teenagers, so they can't buy liquor. So they go to the liquor store, and they stand out in front of the liquor store asking people, hey, will you go in and buy this liquor for us, please? We just so you know, is a group of white teenagers, and they have token black, because there's only one of the teenagers, so we'll call him Token. So they send Token out first. Yes, MKT, we're talking about Ma. Did you see it? Did you see Ma, MKT? So they send Token out to get the liquor first. Everyone talks so bad to Token while he's out there trying to get that liquor. They talk so bad to him. One dude pushes him out the way. People tell him, get lost, loser, all this other stuff, whatever. Right? So then Maggie, I think that's her name. Yes, Maggie. She goes out. Now Maggie's the new kid in school in town. It's her first day of school, right? Her first day of school, she went up to the school. She didn't know where she was going. She went down a hallway and she sees this little black girl in a wheelchair. Her wheelchair is dying. She said, oh, my wheelchair didn't charge up right last night. So she goes and gives her a little push. Lets the little black girl, roll down the hallway in her chair. So she says, thank you for the help. Yada, yada, yada. Maggie says, no problem. You too. Have a great day. Now, fast forward. They're at the liquor store trying to get some liquor. Nobody will buy it. Well, here comes Ma. Ma is walking a 3-legged dog. Ma works in a veterinary clinic. So Ma's coming up, and Maggie asks her, hey, will you buy this liquor for us, please? Maggie is like, no. I'm not trying to go to prison for y'all little white kids. So then Maggie just kind of keeps begging, and then she's like, no. Well, Andy Little white teenager gets out of the van and asks Ma, one more time, please. So Ma, now remember guys, we're talking about teenagers. We're talking about teenagers. So firstly, we're talking about teenagers who want to go to a liquor store and get some liquor. Okay? Andy comes out of the car and asks Ma, please, could you get this liquor for us? Ma looks at him, and Ma wants this little white teenage boy. She looks at him like, oh, look at you. And so she goes and does it because he asks her. So he gets back in the car, and all the boys joke with her like, oh my God, she really wants to F you. And that's how she looked at him, right? Now remember, we're talking about a grown black woman and some teenage white boys. Now that's number one, because see, if those roles would have been reversed and it was some grown black man and some teenage white girl, and he looked at her like that, that movie would be boycotted from here to Neptune. There would be no screenings of that movie anywhere. That movie would be boycotted, and the actor who played the black man would have to work at Arby's. But it's okay because it's a black woman and a little white dude. It's okay. It's okay in this movie because they say it's okay. It's okay. It's not okay. Anyway, so Ma goes and buys the liquor for teenagers. Teenagers go out, they drink liquor, they get busted, they come back home. Next day, the teenagers are at school. They see a big box of liquor. Ma buys them some more liquor. Ma says, hey, you want to come party? Because I want to make sure you're okay. Why don't you come to my place? You guys can drink at my house. I have a whole basement and everything. So they go to Ma's house. Ma has this basement. So they have the liquor. Ma lays down the rules. Okay, y'all can party down here. You can drink and do whatever you want. Just don't go upstairs. Let me know before you leave so I can check you to make sure you're not too drunk to drive home. Have a good time. So they start drinking. They start partying. They're having a good time. And one of the kids starts talking about her room, her basement, and starts telling her how she could make it much cooler. She could do this, she could do that, and it would be cool. So Ma looks at him and she says, you want to see something cool? And everybody's like, yeah. So she reaches into this cabinet, pulls this gun out, points it right at the little white dude's face, and says, strip. He's like, what? She says, take all your clothes off right now. And she holds the gun to his face, and she watches this teenage boy take all of his clothes off, and he's sitting there butt naked, covering his privacy, as we used to say when we were little, covering up his privacy. Now she's sitting here looking up and down at this little teenage boy. Remember, these are teenagers now. Now she's looking up and down at him like she likes what she sees or whatever, right? And then she busts out laughing, tells him to put his clothes back on. The gun don't even work. It was just a joke. Okay, now we see where this is going. It's already some bed winching going on right now, right? It's already some bed winching. So of course they party. Now they party again. They come down there. Of course they keep partying at Ma's house. Well, of course, kids don't listen. Girl had to go pee. She goes upstairs to pee, and she hears Ma talking bad to somebody. I told you to stay up here. What are you doing now? I told you to. She just hears that. So then she goes ahead and goes and pees. She comes out. Her friend busts in. We gotta get out of here. We gotta go downstairs now. So they try to sneak back downstairs. Ma catches them, throws him against the wall. What you doing out here? I told you not to come up here. Get your. This is Ma. Get your asses back downstairs. Gets them back downstairs. So two little white girls, once a black person jacks up a white person, like, it's just, it's horrible. That's the worst thing ever. So two of the girls run out. They scared of Ma at that point, even though she jacked them up because they did something they weren't supposed to do. But even though Ma technically did the wrong thing first by buying liquor for teenagers and asking teenagers to strip in front of her, which is basically like rape. So the girls leave, right? Everyone leaves. So at that point, Maggie's like, I don't think we should go see Ma anymore, right? Now, all the little frivolous details of the movie aren't very important. But as the movie unfolds, you'll see what it is, Cleo. Let's just keep listening. You're so cute, Cleo. So at this point, we see that there is a little bit of disdain and admiration in the way that Ma looks at white people. But we don't understand why at this point. Now, at this point, the movie starts to flash back to Ma's childhood. Okay? Now, Ma went to the same high school as Maggie. As she has come into this town, she goes to the same high school. Well, this is the high school that Ma went to as a teenager herself. Now, Ma is the only black person in the whole school. One of the boys starts to make Ma think that he likes her, right? Now, all these people who are in the school, in their grade, are in on this thing that's about to happen. So he starts to convince Ma that he likes her. They have a party. They invite her out to the same place where the kids went to go drink the first time when they got busted. So they're out drinking, yada, yada. The boy is still talking to Ma. Of course, Ma is still the only black person around. The boy is talking to her, flirting with her, and all this stuff, making her think that he likes her. Well, they get back to school, of course, and he tells her that he wants her to come into the janitor's closet with him and slide the knob. She has never done that before, right? So one of the girls tells her how to do it, okay? And Wendy Sloan says carry for black people. So she goes into the closet. Not really, kind of the opposite. So she goes into the closet. He's in there. She performs the act. She asks him, are you going to talk to me tomorrow? And he said, come on, let's go. Well, they open the door. Ma walks out. And the first person she sees once she steps out of the janitor's closet is the boy that she thought she was in the closet with. She looks to her left, and it was just some random kid that she had just performed fellatio on. And all of the students in her class are outside the janitor's closet and start laughing at her. So yeah, from that standpoint, Wendy Sloan, it was scary. They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you, right? It was scary. So you could almost see at that moment Ma's face and all these teenagers, and you hear that in the background. They're all gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. You could almost see that. So yeah, that was a very good. That was it, right? So now we come back to modern times, and we find out that Maggie's mom is, of course, one of the kids who played this prank on Ma, right? We also find out that the boy that Ma has the hots for, his father is the same guy that was trying to make Ma think that he liked her when they were teenagers. And the girl that showed him how to perform, just showed Ma how to perform fellatio as a teenager, is his wife. Okay? Now, every one of these kids, all of their parents were in on the joke on Ma when she was young. Okay? So she has somehow found all these kids, and she's going to exact her revenge on these kids. So at one point in the movie, she's at the veterinary clinic where she works, and her boss always talks to her like she is nothing. She talks bad to her. She talks really bad to her. Of course, again, Ma's the only black person in town, so the white owner talks so bad to her. Okay? So she's working at the veterinary clinic, and the guy comes in. This is the guy that was convincing her that he liked her when they were teenagers. So he comes in. She sees him. She's all starry-eyed. Oh my God. It's you. I haven't seen you in a long time. He's like, yeah, I haven't seen you since we were what, teenagers, 15 years? Yeah, it's been so long. It's good to see you. You look great. Oh, he's like, yeah, you look great too. Now trust me. Now remember, this is the same dude that tricked her. Okay? KB said, what happened to Lil Token? Lil Token's still there. He's all right for now. Lil Token is he's still in the game. So the guy's like, why don't we catch up and have a drink later? She's like, okay, well, I don't want to come in my scrubs. How about I go home and change? I'll meet you at the bar later. He's like, okay. So we see Ma at the bar waiting for him. He shows up. Hey, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. They sit there. They're talking. So he pulls this thing out of his pocket. He says, hey, do you know what this is? I know you guys are saying it's an iPhone, but let's pretend like it's not an iPhone. Hey, do you know what this is? She's like, So he sets it down. He says, it's a GPS tracker. I have it on all of my vans, including the one that my son drives. I want to know why my son has been at your house. And of course, she's taken aback. She doesn't know what to say. She just kind of looks at him, and she's like, well, hold on. I need you to calm down. Can't we just talk about this, outside the bar? Let's not talk about this here. He says, if I find out that my son is back at your house anymore, there won't be any need to call the police. I'm going to handle this all myself. And he's like, I know what we did to you. Now catch this. This is the kicker. I know what we did to you was wrong. I'm sorry, but that was a long time ago. We were teenagers. Get over it. Now, where have you heard that before? I know it's happened. I know what we did to you was wrong. It was a long time ago. Get over it. I mean, I'm just saying that's what they say still. That's still what they say. Hey, it happened a long time ago. We know we did it. We know it was wrong. It happened a long time ago. Come on, get over it. So she just looks at him, and he turns around and he leaves. Okay, now remember, we're talking about Ma here. This is not just your average woman. We're talking about Ma's ass. So at this point, it starts getting real. Ma's like, okay, the jig is up. So Ma's driving down the street. She sees the wife of the guy who just threatened her. She's going running. Now, his wife is a raving alcoholic. She's basically like trash. Ma sees her jogging down the street. Ma gets on her side of the road, runs her flat in a flapjack in the truck. She's gone. She's dead. She's gone. She's dead. Ma goes back to her veterinary clinic. The manager, who has been a real dick to her the whole time, we see her balled up in a cage. She's gone. She's dead. She's gone. She's dead. It's real. It's getting real. Ma's serious right now. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. So Ma knew about the GPS trackers, so she took the GPS tracker back to her house. Of course, the dude's father is like, hey, I thought I told you not to ever have my son back at your house. She says, hey, do you know what this is? He's like, no, it's an iPhone. She's like, no, it's not an iPhone. It's a GPS tracker. I know what they are too. So she pulls out some drugs, sticks them in his neck. He's unconscious. Okay. Now, it's the kid, Annie, that she likes. It's his birthday, right? So all the kids come back to Ma's house, have this big party. Well, I think his name was Andy. Andy had told his girlfriend Maggie that he would never go back to Ma's house. Why? Because she asked him not to. She said, don't ever go back to Ma's house. Promise me you'll never go back to Ma's house. He's like, okay, I won't ever go back to Ma's house. Next day, he's back at Ma's house having a party. Ma mollies all the drinks. So all the teenagers are mollied up. The girls are kissing the girls. Molly goes down there and starts making out with the teenage boy. She starts making out with the teenage boy. Now he's drugged up. Everybody's all mollied out. Maggie comes in, sees them all high, mollied out. Her girlfriend comes in, starts kissing her. She's all mollied out. They all start passing out. Of course, Ma comes in, drugs her up. She's gone, right? Now she's all tied up. All the kids are tied up. She goes upstairs to the guy that started this whole thing in the first place. He's tied to the bed. She says all men are dogs. So what does she do? She has an IV filled with dog's blood, which she injects into his arm, and then goes and slits his other wrists. Then she goes downstairs. She burns one of the boys with an iron. Then she sets them all up on the bed, on the couch, so she can take her yearbook picture. Now we see Token. Token reappears. Hey, Token. Ma says, sorry, Token. There's only room for one black person. So she takes some white paint and paints Token's face white. Why? Because there can only be one black person. We can't have two. He can't have two. So she paints Token's face white. White face. Not black face, white face on a black dude. Token, no more. So she sits down. They take the picture. And now she has to kill all of them, right? But of course it doesn't work because the parents find out. The girl's mom comes in. Now, of course, the very parents that are coming in to save the day are the very parents that caused the problem in the first place, right? So, of course, again, her mom says, Maggie's mom says, I know what we did to you was wrong. I know what we did to you was wrong, but it was a long time ago. We're sorry. Let it go. They say it again. It was a long time ago. We're sorry we did it, but it was a long time ago. Let it go. So Ma's daughter comes downstairs. Now, according to the story, Ma has been abusing her daughter, right? So as Ma's daughter comes downstairs, she tries to grab her, pull her back. Come on, you come with me. Maggie comes from behind Ma, stabs her in the back with a knife. All right. Ma's like, oh, damn, knife. Right. So her daughter, Ma's daughter. Now let's look at this. This next part is crucial. Let's look at this. Ma's daughter. Now we know Ma's a little messed up. We get it because Ma had to kill a policeman. KB says, I do believe Ma is overreacted just a bit. Maybe so. She might be overreacting a little bit, but that's not the point. The point's not about her overreacting and killing the white people. That's not the point. That's not the point, KB. You get sidetracked. That's peanuts. That's not even a big problem. That's super easy. That's barely an inconvenience. Um, so earlier, a policeman came to the door. He thought that the kids were in there because the cars were parked outside. He's like, who else is in the house? Because he heard a bumping noise. She's like, ain't nobody else in the house. Her daughter pulls up in the wheelchair. She says, see, it's just my daughter. And so as soon as she turned to close the door, the girl that she had tied up downstairs started screaming. Maggie started screaming. And he's like, oh, I need to go see what's going on. Ma pulls out the gun that doesn't work and shoots him twice and kills him. And tells her daughter, get your ass over here because it's your fault. This is literally what she said. Get your ass over here and help me pull his ass in his house. So they pull the dead cop into the house. Now we fast forward to the murder scene, the white people. So she's trying to kill the white kids now. The mom comes in and says, I know what happened to you was bad. I know we were wrong, but it was a long time ago. Just forget about it. Just move on. Again. So at that point, Maggie stabs Ma. Okay. Here we go to the real BS. Her daughter runs off from Ma and runs into the arms of the very people that caused Ma to be crazy in the first place. That was a huge thing. It's not just, oh my God, they're here to save me. That's enough. But we have to remember, Ma's daughter leaves Ma and runs off to the same families of people that caused Ma to be crazy in the first place. It was all their fault, and her daughter leaves and runs off and hugs this woman who was laughing at her mom because they tricked her into performing fellatio on some dude that she didn't know. And now her daughter is hugged up and being saved by those same people. I saw that and I was thinking, really, because that's part of the story. They would not have had that part of the story there for no reason. That's deliberate. That's there. Her daughter was saved by the very people who caused your mom to go crazy. Now, as they're going away, of course, the basement catches on fire. Ma has a big knife wound, but she's not dead at all. She's okay. First time in history the black person was okay from getting stabbed. First time for everything. Especially when you're getting inducted into the Illuminati. So Ma looks out the window and she sees her daughter going off with all these people that hurt her so badly in the first place. She just looks out the window. They're all hugged up with her daughter. Her daughter's hugging her because her mom's been abusing her this whole time. Ma has been abusing her daughter, telling her that she was sick, giving her drugs, keeping her tied up, abusing her physically. Right? No dad anywhere, just Ma and the daughter. Now that daughter is being taken care of by the people that hurt her mom the most. So Ma just looks out the window and we see her looking at this. So now the house is continuing to burn. Ma goes upstairs. Don't forget about the father that initiated the whole thing. He's still upstairs in her bed. Ma goes upstairs to her bedroom where his body is still laying. Now remember, this is the guy that started the whole thing, that tricked her when she was a teenager, made her believe that he really liked her, tricked her into going into a closet and performing fellatio on someone that wasn't him, and she didn't know. And she came out, they all laughed at her. Now he's upstairs in her bed. She goes up to her bedroom, sees him on the bed, moves over close to him, kisses him in the forehead, wraps herself around him, and kisses him, and just lays there hugging this white dude that literally ruined her whole psyche. And they lay there as the house burns down. What's going on in Black Hollywood? What are they trying to say? What's really going on? What is the point of these movies and these TV shows? What are they telling us? What are they trying to say? What's coming? What are their thoughts? How do they feel about us? That's what I think when I see things like that. And why do we take roles like that and do them? And I know a lot of times I joke about things. I try to make things a little lighthearted, but this is not very funny to me. And I was really upset when I saw, not only when I saw the first 3 episodes of Black Mirror, but when I saw that movie, I was not happy with that at all. And I'm a movie person. I love going to movies. I actually have a channel that I'm starting too, where I talk a lot about movies. But this doesn't seem like something that's just a movie, especially in light of all the things that are happening recently in the news and in life, and it's just so much going on. It makes me think that this is deliberate. So why do we continue to take roles like this? And so I think earlier Red Boy said, well, how do we stop this, or how do we get past this? And I think the main thing is we need to stop taking these roles. We need to stop taking these roles. It's ridiculous. Why do we do that? So yeah, Ma was a little bit of some craziness. It's a little crazy. It was a little crazy. Wendy Sloan says there is a death cult, a hatred for humanity. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. Well, that is my rant on Majority Report Monday. I think there are some issues. There's something being said or something being done. There's an agenda that is being carried out, and I think it's real. I know some people think that there's conspiracy theory type stuff, but I think it's real. Cleo Banks says, oh gosh, what's crazy is I had white people at work recommend this movie to me. What in the world? Do they not see it? Yeah. But you know what, Cleo? It's either one of two things. Either they see it and they want to rub it in our faces, or 2, they see it but they don't see behind the veil of what it's really saying. And a lot of times I think it's some of both. I think sometimes they see it and they're like, you want to go see this movie? And then sometimes they see it and they don't realize what is really being said in these types of movies. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I don't think they realize sometimes. So yeah, as far as a movie, it was a well done movie, but I saw what they were trying to say, and that made me a little not cool with it. Well, that was my interpretation of it. Did anyone else who was in the chat see this movie? Did anyone else see this movie? Am I the only one? Why would Octavia play that role, Red Boy? Because Octavia has done other things. She's done other things. And when you get there, at some point you have to do something like that. Octavia Spencer has won an Oscar. She has won an Oscar. She has done a lot. She's been very successful. So that money ain't free. You have to pay for it. That money has a price. And one day, it's like The Godfather. One day I will call upon you to do me a favor. And when they call, they come a knocking. Remember what you did? Well, it's time to pay up. Cleo Banks says, what do you specifically think they are saying? Run to our white savior. Stop being angry. Both. Winnie Sloan says she is too busy now not to be in the club. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like they're saying. And I also think that it's an acknowledgement of the Stockholm syndrome that a lot of us as black people suffer. Because in this case, she basically had Stockholm syndrome. This person had done something horrible to her, but she still wanted love and acknowledgement from him. Even though he had done all this horrible stuff to her, she still wanted love and acknowledgement from him. Frank the writer says, what do you think about South Central? A little black boy getting shot in his back for burglarizing the homeowner's car as he jumps over the fence. I remember seeing South Central. I remember seeing South Central. But yeah, man, we'll definitely talk about that some other time. But don't be scared to watch it. It's not scary. It's actually a little bit. It's not scary at all. But it's just not a. It's not something I think I need to watch again. But I do think that, like Cleo Banks said, the stop being angry is definitely something that's being said. Come on, get over it. Happened a long time ago. It's okay. Happened a long time ago. Relax. It's okay. So guys, I'm sorry to keep you guys so long. I appreciate you guys being on here with me tonight as I rant about some movies and a TV show. But I really, when I saw those shows, I really felt like that was something to talk about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you see those movies and that TV show, Black Mirror, at some point, write what you think about them in the comments. Let me know if you see any of the things that I drew from those movies. Just let me know, guys. So I think I'm going to get out of here. Go do some Ubering. I saw Red Boy say Boys in the Hood, Cuba Gooding Jr. Now it almost messed up what I was saying. Go ahead and make a little bit more money tonight. I will definitely be back on tomorrow. I'm not sure what the topic will be, but I will definitely let you guys know a little bit further in advance this time. So guys, thanks as always for joining the show. I appreciate seeing you all so much. Red Boy, thank you again for the donation. I appreciate you very much, brother. Really appreciate it. And I will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 Central Time. All right. Have a good night, guys. Peace.